Greetings and welcome to Wednesday Ramblings. I just have to tell you as I start this Ramblings that as I was talking, suddenly my Alexa came on and said she didn't have an answer for that. I suspect that I am lucky that I didn't actually say the word out loud, or at least strongly enough to attract her attention again. My Wednesday ramblings are nearly always about my homily or my message for next Sunday. It's the fourth week of the new ways or new ways of God, new plans of God that I've been preaching over these weeks. In this week's Gospel, Jesus returns to Nazareth, and the people look at him as they listen to him speaking and immediately begin to make presumptions. We know who he is, we know who his family is, we know his relatives, and so immediately, without beginning to really listen with their ears and with their heart, they've closed their minds. And I sometimes wonder whether some of the things that happen in our communities today really result from the same kind of attitude of how we appreciate Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in our community, of how we look at those who have a different sexual orientation to us. Not saying anything about being right or wrong, but how we appreciate people. Pope Francis, in a interview that, or at least a meeting he had with 8 British journalists or 8 British movie people, TV people, who went on a walk from Canterbury to Rome. When he met them, one of them, he was a British person of African descent, said to him that he was a gay man, and Pope Francis looked at him and said, "It's not a noun." He was really saying, you are a person and you are important. So today, I'd just like us to wonder and think about how we respond to people who might in fact have a slightly different perspective to how we live. We can reject their thoughts, we can reject their position, we can reject what they speak about. But are we willing to accept them as human beings, sons and daughters of God? Ultimately, none of us are going to be exactly the same as the next person, and that's the reality of life. None of us are going to have exactly the same way of thinking about particular issues and circumstances. That's just the way of life. But there is something really important that we need to reflect on and need to respect, and that is that God has called us in our own unique and very wonderful way of living to be a sign of life to others. One of the things that the Gospel tells us today, that in spite of the way Jesus was treated, he did reach out to those who were sick. Though he didn't perform many miracles in that town, he did heal those who were in need of healing. So perhaps today, as we look at the world in which we live and the competing and sometimes contradictory attitudes of people around us, sometimes the attitudes of our family and friends, we might be prepared, as Jesus was, to reach out to those who are in need and really bring life and hope to them. God bless. Look forward to seeing you next time on my Wednesday Ramblings.